Welcome to Mic Drop, the podcast where relevancy is irrelevant and we don't give a shit about your feelings.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's both an honor and a pleasure to introduce my next guest to the Mic Drop podcast. He is the owner of Financially Fit Academy up there in Canada, also the owner of Balanced Bodies. He's got an Instagram following that would rival Michelle Obama. He's a Canadian badass that literally wipes his ass with maple leafs. He hasn't had a carb since 2009, and his stomach doubles as a laundromat in his off time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Collin Joseph.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me here.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. I know you're a busy guy, and you have all kinds of shit going on. I follow you on Instagram as well as, almost a million other assholes do, and I'm always baffled at like how much moving around you do and traveling and just all the different shit you have going on. So I'm excited to get into it and to offer some of the expertise that you've gleaned over the years in what you do for a living, in keeping in tradition with some of the fitness-minded podcasts that everybody seems to thrive on and request so much with Mic Drop. So I appreciate you making time out of your schedule to come all the fucking way out here because I know it's a bit of a trip.
No, absolutely. It's I was up here, so I always wanted to have nothing but respect for you there, Mike. So I wanted to get on the podcast.
No, I appreciate it. What brings you to Dallas to begin with?
I was just there's the Icon Meals. They had a Christmas party and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I always like Dallas. So.
Yeah.
So I just came up for that.
Yeah, it's tough to beat. All right, so I like to start everything off with a little bit of a lightning round and just ask some kind of stupid basic questions to get the juices flowing and before we delve into the more serious shit.
Sure, after it.
Yeah, what's your creepiest Instagram stalker story?
I literally was just talking about this. So I've become like desensitized to the amount of creepy messages that I get. Mm-hmm. And usually like DMs are the creepiest ones because they're not as methodical. Like I never received creepy emails because you have to like type in an email and it's kind of methodical.
Yeah.
So I received it was like a contract or like an agreement, and I was like, which I normally get from like supplement companies and apparel lines and stuff like that. So I was going through I just kind of briefly skimmed over it, and I saw like $15,000. So I was like, all right, whatever, like 15 grand, like you have my interest type thing.
Yeah.
So I started reading it, and it was like super laid out and structured in the sense that it was a guy, some rich dude from Dubai, and he like wanted to pay me 15 grand I had to buy 15 small rodents. And it was all structured out. It was either like hamsters, gerbils, mice.
I already know where this is going.
Up to rabbits. I had 15 of them. I had to wear like 6-inch high heels, 6-inch red high heels, fishnet stockings. And he wanted me to step on all of them and kill all of them and then masturbate on their bodies and send him the video.
So how long did it take you to do all that?
So I made $15,000 is what I'm trying to tell you.
Dude, that is some fucking twisted shit.
And like I've become so desensitized to like the creepy messages that I receive. That's the only one that sticks out in my memory all the time.
Is that a fairly recent one?
No, it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, Jesus.
I remember I was with my brother and I just burst out laughing. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah, I think there's like a fetish term for that, right? It's is it called trampling or crushing or something?
I have no idea. That? Probably.
Why do I know that? That's a different episode. From your perspective of growing up in Canada? What's the biggest difference, just off the top of your head, that you kind of identify as between Canada and America, going back and forth so often between the two?
There isn't really that much of a difference. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head would just be like how cold it is.
Yeah. Even like politically, guns wise.
Guns. Yeah, definitely guns.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that always kind of sticks out. I've got a couple of clients that are Canadian, and every time I go up there, I'm like, God damn it. I got to like sanitize my fucking car with everything out of it. But, to me, the population difference is pretty huge too, right? It's a much more sparsely populated.
Oh, yeah. So like like the city that I live in, it's probably the same size as like, take LA for an example. Like the city that I live in is the same size as LA. I don't know. I think LA has like 6 million people or something like that. We have like barely over 1 million.
Yeah.
So like, it's just, we have more land mass than the States.
Yeah.
So it's not as congested.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely guns. Now that you say that, yeah, it's definitely guns.
Yeah.
Like I'll go up to visit my buddy that's the team guy on Team 10. And like I'll jump in his car and there's like AR-15s and like 9mm. And he's like, oh, just move that. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. He's like, yeah. So it's just a different culture in the sense of like weapons and stuff.
No, I know it. I always have to be careful every time I go up there. What's your biggest gym pet peeve?
I don't really have very many pet peeves. I don't like pay attention to people when I'm in the gym. I go in there, I do my thing, and I get out in like 45 minutes.
Nothing? Guys that don't re-rack weights, I mean something?
Yeah. Probably re-racking. But it's not like, I don't know. I'm there to work out. I just view it as like I can lift their weights and throw it back on the rack. And like it's just an added bonus to my workout.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I have a gym here in my garage because the nearest one is 30 minutes away. But
yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah. I mean, but, for me, like I hate waiting on people. Like if I'm doing a circuit or want to knock it out quick and there's, 3 people deep on whatever fucking piece of gear I want to jump on, that shit drives me nuts. But
I guess maybe my biggest pet peeve would be like going at like the peak hours at like 5 p.m. whenever that's super busy.
Yeah. Or January 1st.
Yeah, or January 1st.
What is something that nobody knows about you, or at least publicly, like something that you haven't disclosed that you're willing to do exclusively on the old mic drop?
On the old mic drop, there's literally nothing that I haven't talked about on my social media, but probably that I had a criminal record.
Oh,
so
shit.
I wasn't allowed in the States until like I was like 25.
What the fuck was that all about?
When I was like 19, I used to fight in MMA when I was younger. So I think it was an after party for one of my MMA fights. And I was dating a girl at the time. She was a super tiny girl, and she hadn't met one of my best friends. So we went to like a rival town of like. So I grew up in a super small town. So the next rival town's like 30 kilometers away, and I'd been there previously and caused a bunch of trouble and stuff like that, as you usually do when you're a kid. And so we went there. We went to this town. It's called Bonnyville, Alberta. And we went there, and I was introducing my girlfriend at the time to my best friend just because they hadn't met each other. And a fight broke out as 2 other dudes that had nothing to do with us. And the bouncer previously didn't like me from a previous thing. So he like ran and pushed me, and I went flying, and I fell into my girlfriend at the time, and I was holding 2 drinks, and I spilled my drinks. But she went to like put her arm behind herself to brace herself when she fell. She ended up breaking her arm. And so she's crying. I've got drinks spilt all over me. I'm pissed off. So I got up and I squared off with the bouncer, and I fought the bouncer. But I ended up breaking his jaw and his orbital bones, and he got some lacerations. It was really quick. It was only like 10, 15 seconds, and I scooped her up and I took her to the hospital. But that was on Saturday, and then the cops picked me up on Wednesday morning.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I got like a 5-year criminal record. It was like almost $50,000 in lawyer fees and reputable damages I had to pay the guy. I wasn't allowed in any liquor establishments for 2 years. I had a year of probation. I had to spend a little bit of time behind bars. But so that's why I hadn't been to the States till I was like 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so to me, that sticks out as being a pretty stark contrast between the United States and Canada. Here, it's like, don't do it again.
Oh, yeah. But also part of the reason why it was not, like, why I got such a hefty fine was because the guy didn't charge me. His brother was a police officer. So the police charged me, which is way worse.
Was it like assault and run or hit and run?
It was assault causing bodily harm with grievance is what the charge was.
God damn.
Yeah, so.
Well, there you heard it here first, folks.
There you heard it. That's the very first time I've ever told the story.
That's awesome. I think I already know the answer to this question, but most embarrassing thing that you can think of that's ever happened to you?
Most embarrassing thing? The only thing that sticks out in my mind is when I was in like high school, me and my buddies used to like fuck around with each other, and like you'd try to like pants them, like pull their pants down, stuff like that. And we had like these skills tests. So like in gym class, whatever, if you're doing like volleyball or basketball or whatever it may be, you had to like, so for instance, this time we were playing volleyball, and the gym teacher would throw up the ball, and you would have to set the ball into like a target or like a box or something like that on their side. So I had just previously pantsed my friend Will in a Boston Pizza, which is like a TGI Fridays or something like that. So he was going to get me back, but the whole gym class, there's like 50 people or whatever, was all sitting on the bleachers and stuff. So the gym teacher throws up the ball. I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm getting ready to set the ball. And he pants me, and like I thought my boxers were still on, so I was like, all right, whatever. But my dick was just hanging out, and like the gym teacher was sitting on a chair, and he threw the ball. So like my dick was like in my gym teacher's face. That's like the most embarrassing thing I can think of.
That's fucking great. God damn. Fucking, it's funny that de-pantsing or pantsing, de-pantsing. Here, I think we call it de-pantsing, but like that shit never gets old. Like you could be,
it's always funny.
Whether you're 5 or fucking 55, that shit's just stupid funny. But that's fucking great.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite cheat meal?
Oh, pizza for sure.
Yeah. There's some in the fridge. I fucked it up last night watching football. And this is one question I love to ask everybody, especially more fitness-minded folks like yourself. I love to kind of get into the weeds of a typical morning, like excluding travel and doing shit outside the norm. But you're at home. What does a morning routine, a typical morning routine look like for you?
So I do intermittent fasting. So I do like a 16-8 split. Mm-hmm. So I don't eat. I eat from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mm-hmm. So like I usually wake up like I don't sleep too much. So I wake up like between like at like 10. I usually go to bed at like 5, and then I wake up at like 10.
No shit.
Yeah, I've just always been like that. I've never really slept very much.
But you stay up that fucking late, huh?
Yeah, because I own my 3 different companies, so I'm usually like answering emails and talking to clients and stuff like that, or reading or something. But so yeah, I usually just wake up and I'll kind of like I usually just drink tea and then answer emails. If I like, so I have my Google Calendar and stuff like that, and like I have all my scheduled like consultation calls and stuff like that with the Financially Fit Academy and all of our students and stuff. So depending on like what calls and stuff like that I have going on, but like typical morning, like I don't eat till 2, so I usually just wake up, I have tea and drink some water and take my vitamins and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you typically work out and when you first wake up?
Depending on like what my schedule is like if I have like a bunch of shit going on, like if I can't fit the workout in, then I'll just go in the evening. I don't really have a problem with working out like fasted, or like I know that obviously there are some physiological disadvantages to working out like fast and stuff, but to me it's all kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like I know that I'm going to be weaker if I haven't eaten for like 15 or 16 hours or something like that, but like I'm consciously aware of that, so I don't. It doesn't bother me in any sense.
Yeah. So I mean that's interesting. I mean, we'll get. I've got a bunch of notes here for later on. We'll talk a little more about some of the workouts and supplements and eating and stuff, but. To me, that's kind of surprising to me, that you stay up that late, that you sleep that little, but also like that there's, just having never met you before and seeing, kind of your presence on social media. I think a lot of people would assume like you've got this fucking chemistry experiment worth of different bullshit that you take in the morning. To me, it's actually kind of refreshing to hear that you don't. You're like, I have some fucking tea and vitamins and get up and start my shit. Like I think so many times people overcomplicate shit so bad to
I'm very intuitive to like my body. Like I'll eat when I'm hungry. Like obviously like I follow like a guideline of healthy like proteins, fats, carbs, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, like it's always funny. Like when I start like if I start dating a new girl or seeing a new girl, like I think that they create like a perception, like you're saying. Yeah. And they're like, oh, like you must be like super healthy and you do this and like that. I'm like, no, fuck, I don't do any of that. Like. I just do whatever I want to do and I live my life. And
oh, that's good shit.
Yeah,
that's got to be. I mean, to me, like, there's got to be balance, and B, if you're putting all this work and time and energy into it and not enjoying it, like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah, and like I did because I did like 12 or 11 or 12 like fitness competitions and stuff like that. Yeah. So like I've done the whole 6 meals a day and like, it's not for me.
Fuck, it's a full-time job. It seems
I know. It's a full-time job just eating.
Yeah. No, that shit's fucking nuts. All right, so moving into just kind of your background, childhood growing up, where did you grow up in Alberta, you said? Yeah,
I grew up in a really small town in like northern Alberta, central Canada. It's called Cold Lake. Oddly enough, the lake is very cold. But yeah, so I grew up there. It was like population like 5,000 people or something like that. It's grown a little bit since then, but it was like 5,000 at the time that I grew up.
Yeah.
So yeah, my dad was in the military. He was in the Canadian Special Forces. And then him and my mom split up when I was like 5. He was overseas and stuff like that all the time. So typical military family. Yeah. But so I grew up with my mom, and I wasn't super close to my dad until he retired from the military when I was like 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I grew up with my mom, single mom. Like we didn't have too much and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's where I grew up.
Any siblings? Only child?
Yeah, I have an older brother. He's 2 years older than I am.
anything in terms of you guys growing up, like conflicts, or you guys were tight, you're not tight?
Oh no, we're super tight now. Like we fucking hated each other when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Like, we fought all the time. And if we were at like a high school party, we weren't talking to each other. And like, we had like mutual friends because we were only 2 years apart. Yeah. But like, like we hated each other until pretty much he went to college and like we moved out and we like became adults essentially. Yeah. I think it was just like that we were stuck together. Like we were always like in each other's faces.
Yeah. Well, like, so physical fitness wise, is he into working out similar?
Oh yeah, he's in really good shape. Yeah,
is he bigger or smaller than you?
He's a little bit taller than I am. He's like about the same weight as me.
Yeah.
And my dad's like I was very lucky in the gym pool. My dad's a freak. He's a freak athlete. Like he'll go out and he'll bike like 60 kilometers a day.
Still even, huh?
Oh, he's out of control.
Yeah.
So I got lucky in that sense.
Yeah. Do you ever fuck with your dad? Like, grapple with him, wrestle with him?
So my dad used to be a very good boxer. He still is. But so like growing up, he would always spar with us when we were kids and stuff like that. Like I remember like the first time I ever got a bloody nose, he just fired one down the pipe and just blew my nose there when I was like 11 or something like that. And he like wanted to see how I was going to react to me getting a bloody nose. Yeah. But like I used to wrestle with my dad and stuff like that, and like he'll always just jump and fucking attack me. He's just a big kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm super close to my dad. He's one of the best men that I know.
So if you fuck with him now, do you are you at a point in your life where you can get the best of him between?
Oh yeah, when I started fighting MMA and like training and stuff like that when I was like 20, like was when I was starting to like
pass the torch.
There was more respect given from him then. Yeah, the TSN turning point.
Yeah, that's fucking great. My dad, I mean, he wrestled in. All growing up, he wrestled with Dan Gable in high school, and he wrestled
awesome.
in college, and he's a bigger guy than I am, and even to this day, like he's still a fucking handful, you know. Like I'm like, God damn, he's almost 70, and he'll still get after it. He stays pretty active, you know, still too.
That's good. You got to be moving.
Oh, I know.
Once you stop moving, that's when you start getting decrepit and like your body starts breaking down.
That's no bullshit. I know with this tricep injury, it's definitely made things hurt that haven't normally.
Yeah.
Because I'm not using my body the same way. I still am active, but
you're like being more consciously aware to be like more reserved in certain things and stuff.
Yep. Family influence, obviously. So your dad was in the military. Was there any thought process given towards joining yourself, or was he more of against it, or did it not?
No, he was fully for it, and I would have went the Army Special Forces route. That was my plan, but when I got my criminal record, things changed. Yeah. So, which I always look back now and like I wouldn't be where I am today. Yeah.
They're ultra selective about that?
Yeah. At the time they were. I think like they changed. Like they're always changing depending on how much like soldiers they need and stuff like that. Yeah. But at the time it was like a no-go type thing.
Yeah. No, I get it. Any traumas or like super powerful or big impact experiences as a child growing up that shaped anything that affects you today?
Not that I can think of, like in the sense that. No, I didn't have any like super bad traumas. Like I didn't have it like, I don't know. Your life's only as bad as you make it. Yeah. Yeah. So, no, I didn't have any like really bad traumas. I don't think. Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Anything from your mom that has shaped who you are in terms of work ethic? I mean, obviously growing up with a single mom, there's got to be an element.
Oh yeah. Like we didn't have much. We didn't have a car. We like never had cable. I still to this day have never owned cable. Just like we definitely didn't have much money and stuff like that. And I always remember seeing like and my mom started her own company. She started like it was like a spa, like a tanning spa, massages and facials and stuff like that. Which she did really well. She owned it for like 17 or 18 years, and then she just sold it a couple of years ago. But I always remember her like just her work ethic was like we didn't have much, but she always like worked her ass off. So like. It definitely shaped me in the sense that I know that if I don't do that, and people always ask me this, they're like, oh, how do you stay motivated? Like, where do you get your motivation? My biggest motivation is just that if I don't do the fucking work, nobody's going to do it for me. Yeah. So if I want something, I got to work my ass off to get it. That's how life is. Yeah. I don't have anybody giving me any fucking handouts or anything like that. So that and I remember that from like my mom, like she'd work like 16-hour days, come home, like cook for us, like, take us to hockey practice, stuff like that. Yeah.
So you played hockey growing up, huh?
Everybody plays hockey. Everybody plays hockey in Canada.
Yeah. It's like fucking football in Texas.
It's like football and wrestling here in the States.
Were there any other sports that you played growing up?
Yeah. I played hockey until like probably from like 4 till like 14. And then I switched to football, and then I played football for like my high school, like the end of my high school career. But yeah, so I played football. I played like badminton and like
badminton.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like badminton. My brother was really good at badminton.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I played badminton. Like I went to provincials, like won provincials. Yeah,
that's a fucking trip. So one of the things that I'm sitting here a little surprised by is actually the football thing. I know like there's the college football league and a lot of guys that either get injured or they get in trouble or that second chance, whatever. A lot of times they go play ball up there. But
up in CFL, yeah.
How was that experience in Canadian high school playing football? Like, is that?
It's definitely not like it is here. Like, it's not like you're not like the cool kid if you play football and stuff. Like, you're the cool kid if you play hockey. Yeah. But I just like hitting people, and I know I could hit more people if I played football.
Yeah.
So
that's fucking great.
Yeah. So I switched from hockey to football.
Yeah. What if you could, just for the listener, because most of them are stateside, although there's Canadian, there's European, Australian, whatever. I'm curious, just out of pure ignorance. I don't have a real good grasp on the public school system. Does it differ from what you're aware of from high school? And can you describe that process? I
don't think it like differs. I don't know too much about like the American school system.
Yeah.
So, but like from like what I've seen, I don't think it differs much.
Yeah.
I know that like there's like I've just from what I've heard on the news that you guys are underfunded in teachers and stuff like that, obviously because you guys are overpopulated here in the States.
Yeah.
Maybe that comes into effect, but I just don't know too much about the American school system. Like it's good in Canada.
What do you remember? What your size graduating class?
Oh, my graduating class was the biggest one in my town's history, and it was like 100 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I think a recurring theme is just the population difference between here and there is pretty dramatic, which I like. That's one of the things here. It's like people talk about, a host of different politic issues, which we'll get into, but there's a lot of them that stem from exactly that, is that there's a finite amount of resources and there's more and more people.
Yeah.
There is no way around that. Like at some point there's a breaking point or a diminishing return where you're just fucking at a point where it doesn't matter how you skin that fucking cat, you're screwed because there's too many fucking people and not enough shit to support it. But whereas Canada, every time I've been there, like I'm like, God damn this. It's a lot like where I live out here, but it's more that way in more places,
Yeah, it's funny because like the province that I live, Alberta, is exactly like Texas.
Yeah.
Minus we don't have the guns and it's way colder. Yeah. Besides that, it's exactly like the prairies, like the blue collar, like oil field. Because like where I live, it's a very oil driven province. So I used to be a B pressure welder. I welded in the oil field for like 6 years before I got into the online space and doing my like entrepreneurial stuff. But yeah, Texas is a lot like where I grew up.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's why I always like Texas. I have a good time when I come here.
Well, and so that's actually my next question is that early adulthood. Like, can you describe from you graduate high school, what happened for you after that?
So I graduated high school. I was like 17 at the time when I graduated. Then I went to I worked on the rigs, like the oil rigs. Mm-hmm. Did that for like a year. So I moved out, got my own place and stuff like that. Did that for like a year. Then I started my apprenticeship to be a welder. So I welded for 6 years or 6.5 years or something like that. Got my B pressure, had my own truck and subcontracted in my own company and stuff like that. And then, eventually I was just fucking tired of it because I was working like 12 to 14 hour days. You're working anywhere from 1 to 36 days straight. You make a shit ton of money, but you don't get to spend your money. You don't have a life. You don't have a life. You're up in like desolate fucking cold like towns, or you're in a camp, like a work camp, and they just like put you there and there's nothing there. There's you and 3,000 other guys.
Yeah.
So
fucking sword fight.
Yeah, fuck, pretty much. Or like 3 women that are questionable.
Yeah.
So, so I was just tired of that. And then I just said, fuck it. And then I had no money put away. I had no money set aside or anything like that. I moved to the complete opposite side of Canada. I was chasing a girl. And then when I got there, I was like, I sold all my stuff, got there. I had like $400 in my bank account after I paid for gas and stuff like that to get there. So I was like, all right, well, now I'm here. And like, she's under the impression that I fucking have my shit together, which I definitely did not. So that's where like understanding and learning how to make money. And then I think I made like $4,500 in like 2 days in like online work. And I was like, fuck, I'm like, I'll never go back to trading time for dollars.
Yeah.
So, and then that's where I started my first company, and then I grew to my second and then my third. And yeah.
So it's interesting about the welding thing. I mean, I did a brief stint with ExxonMobil
Okay.
for the better part of a year in between, like while I was setting up the dog business.
You're making sparks and breaking hearts.
Not exactly, but close. I mean, mostly breaking roughnecks hearts. Sorry, guys, I'm married. No, it was a natural gas rig up in northern Colorado, but it was a neat experience in terms of seeing that middle America type of feel. I mean, obviously for me in the military, it's largely that way also, but getting to be in a civilian environment where it's that same type of feel and same type of guys and whatever was it was a good experience for me. But is there any element of that you miss?
People ask me all the time. I just kind of miss like bullshit with the guys and stuff like that, and like fucking around. Playing pranks on each other and stuff like that.
Well, the one thing I will say about both the military and like roughneck type crews is that you have to worry a whole hell of a lot less about hurting people's feelings and being politically correct.
Oh yeah.
Shit,
like I remember some of the jokes and stuff like that you'd say and like tell and stuff, and like that's why like I don't ever get offended by anything. So like that's why people are like, oh, doesn't this bother you? And people are like talking about it. I'm like, no, like you gotta have to have thick skin to be in.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Yep. So how did that so you moved from being in the oil field and welding to doing some online work? How did that kind of transfer into, and if you can walk us through like how that transitioned into what you're doing now?
It was really just, I honestly like just fell into it. I just said fuck it, and I went after it. And then like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had no game plan. I wasn't prepared in any way. And that's kind of how I've always lived my life. If I'm interested in something, I'm just gonna go do it. And once I get my feet moving, I'll figure out how to do something. Yeah. So and that's pretty much what I did. I just said fuck it, and I'm like, I'll figure it out as I go type thing.
Yeah.
So which it did really well. I was able to figure out. I remember spending like nights just like researching and trying to figure out the best times to post, because this was like, I didn't have any social media up until like 2000 and I think it was like mid 2015. I didn't have Facebook, didn't have Instagram. I didn't even know what Instagram was. I thought Instagram was like a filter, like for filtering pictures or something like that. Yeah. I remember my very first Instagram post, like, I think I put like, I thought you had to only use hashtags in the caption. So I just put hashtag like picture or something like that. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, I had no idea about like social media or anything like that. And, I really was like kind of just going through like a breakup, and I used like Instagram for because I wasn't able to fight in MMA anymore because they changed the rules and regulations to it used to be you just had to get your blood work done, you had to have your hepatitis A, B, and C, and then your HIV and stuff like that, and then a doctor's note, and then that was it. But they changed it to you had to have a CT scan. And when I was a kid, when I was like 5, I fractured my skull, and they cut out a piece of my skull like the size of a golf ball. So I have like a soft spot on the side of my head. That's why I have that scar here. So when they changed that, I was no longer able to like compete in MMA or anything like that. So I was like, well, I'm super competitive by nature. I'm like, I need something to do. A friend of mine was like, well, why don't you look into like men's physique competitions? Like you kind of have the look and your body's like built like that. So I was like, cool. So I looked into it, and then I really only started my social media just to post pictures and progress pictures and stuff like that. And then one thing led to another, and then I started like realizing that people were reaching out to me and asking about training, and I didn't know what online training was. I didn't know that you could even teach people online and like protect your time and not have to do one-on-one training and stuff like that. So when I started cluing in on that you could monetize on this, that's when I started my first online training business.
Yeah. One thing I noticed you glossed over is you broke your fucking head when you were 5 years old.
Oh yeah.
To me, that's probably a traumatic fucking experience when you like.
But I don't remember it. So like, it is what it is. It happened, and I fucking deal with it.
How did you crack your fucking skull?
I was a kid, and my we were moving from Ontario, Canada to Alberta, and from what I remember and like what I've been told, I was playing road hockey. And we shot a ball. I shot a ball under a moving truck, like the big Atlas Van Lines moving trucks. I went and got it. And when I came out, a couple teenagers were bicycling by, and the handlebar clipped my head and like just ripped out my whole skull and like, my brain and everything.
Fucking knock you smooth out and all that.
Yeah. So I had to. It was like 2 years it took me to do, to protect it. So I wasn't able to like read, and like I wasn't able to function and stuff like that. Like I didn't really learn how to read until I was like 9 or 10. I had to wear a hockey helmet, not a hockey helmet, like a bike helmet to protect my head. Yeah. For like a year. So I was the kid that was in school that was like fucking weird because I was wearing a hockey helmet, or not a hockey helmet, a bike helmet.
Yeah, fucking skateboard helmet.
Yeah. So yeah, and like that definitely didn't make me make any friends when I was a kid.
Yeah, no shit.
But it is what it is. Like, yeah.
And so now, but now they didn't put anything.
No, so I could have had them like, and my parents told me this. They could have had them put a plate in.
Yeah.
But it would have, it could have potentially. Made it so I wasn't able to like learn and develop as fast. Oh, no so they decided not to put it in. And like I had to go to like a bunch of different like reading courses. I remember like reading with my dad when I was like 8 and 9 and like fucking just being upset that I couldn't read and everybody else could read and stuff like that. So I was at a little bit of a disadvantage when I was a kid. So
man, that's no bullshit. At this point, is there anything that they can put into?
I could do like the plate now if I wanted to, but like I don't fucking care. Like
Like it's obviously not causing any problems.
Yeah, it doesn't cause me any problems. It would just be a pain in the ass. Like, it'd be an extra surgery that I don't need for anything.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not getting smacked in that soft spot, like, that's all good.
Yeah, no shit. Speaking of surgeries, we're going to talk about Canadian medicine, but towards the end, I don't want to get too sidetracked. But in terms of workouts, obviously, like, you know, that's kind of the backbone of what you do in terms of offering that type of advice and training people online, et cetera. But I'm always curious to get your take or people like yours takes on the different types of workouts. And I know, you know, it's something I've done my entire adult life, but if you could kind of synopsize like your philosophy on working out for specific goals or body types or whatever, you know, kind of the 3-minute elevator pitch, if you will, of what you think.
Yeah, and like I always say that workouts, barring the fact that like you're like not working out for like performance or something like that. Like if you're if you're an athlete or something, you have to like work out towards that. Like I understand that, but like for the average person, the general population, I feel like that workouts and nutrition are tailored towards like your lifestyle. So like you're not going to do a workout there won't be any longevity in a workout that you don't like that you don't enjoy. Mm-hmm. So same with nutrition. Like if you want to do a ketogenic diet, like sure, it'll work for you. Obviously it's going to work for you, but like you're not going to be able to sustain that if that's not what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Like with myself, with intermittent fasting, that's what fits my lifestyle. That's why I've been able to do it for like 2.5 years now. Mm-hmm. I don't even think about it. It's awesome. It just works for my lifestyle. But that might not work for you. It may not work for somebody else. So whatever your training is, same with training. So if you want to do like a powerlifting, like type training aspect, or if you want to do like a hypertrophy, like a training aspect, like whatever fits your lifestyle and whatever is going to work for you to keep you active and like growing and progressing and that you enjoy, that's what's going to work best for you.
Yeah.
So that's why like whenever I do like consultation calls and stuff like that with my Balanced Bodies company and whatnot, I like to talk to people and like see like what's your lifestyle like what are your eating habits, like what time do you wake up at, like what's your routine?
Yeah.
Because then I can like figure out what training, like either training like regime will work for you or like nutritional approach will work for you.
Sure. Well, and that's interesting because one of the things that I've noticed that there's a huge parallel between online training with working out and with dog training is that I think for your average, for the 98% of the assholes out there that are interested in either one of them, they get bombarded by people in our positions of being so far in the weeds that they're just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Like they just want to know, like, here's my lifestyle. Like, here's kind of my basic goal. Like, how the fuck do I get there without talking about, like breaking down, this many sets and, doing negatives on it. Like, I'm curious to get your take. Like, do you try to keep it really simple for people so that it's easier to manage and follow? Or do you...
Like I generally usually kind of like keep it relatively simple, and then like as we like progress, like if they bought like a 90-day package or something like that for after the first like 2 weeks, like if they're wanting more, okay, all right, like you're getting more comfortable now, so like I can add more stuff. I'm not gonna fucking throw you in doing like supersets and like different like, all right, every like 30 seconds you're doing this, like unless that's what you want. Yeah. But like for the most part, I usually keep it like relatively simple.
Yeah. How about for you yourself? Like, do you, in terms of, and I use the air quotes, programming, like, do you get super into the weeds, like where you're really keeping track of stuff?
I've always been like, but I just do it. Like, I don't even think about like my stuff. Like, so like I've been working out since I was like 11 years old. like I just did, like I don't have to have a notepad or anything like that unless I'm like writing down like weights and stuff like that and I want to like track my progression. But for my workouts, like I'm in and out, like I don't want to be in the gym. I want to be in and out in like 35 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So I superset everything. I usually take like a 15 to 30 second break. Just to like walk to the water fountain, get a drink of water, and then I come back. That's like my like set or like my break.
Yeah.
And then I superset everything.
So by that,
except for like legs and back day where I need like longer break periods and stuff.
So can you break down or synopsize like you work 2 days on, 1 day off, like you work these types of body parts?
So with my training, I just work out every day until my body tells me I need a break.
Yeah.
So I'll work out like 7 days in a row, and then if I need a break, I'll take a day or two off if I need to, and yeah, that's how I've always trained.
And do you break it up in the days that you train? Like
So I'll do
chest
like
day.
I'll do like a chest day, like a leg day. I split up my legs. I split up my quads, and my hamstrings. I train like I have a quad day, a hamstring day, and then I have a full leg day. Mm-hmm. So and then I like do legs. I don't really train arms like because I always had bigger arms, so I had to like grow my shoulders, and my chest in to fit my arms.
Yeah.
But it was because when I was in high school, all I did was fucking arms for like every day for like 3 years.
Curls for the girls.
Oh yeah. And then I had gigantic arms that didn't fit my body.
Yeah.
So
arm wrestler.
Yeah, for like 4 years. Oh, and I'd be at bars and people would want to arm wrestle me and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not gonna arm wrestle you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So one thing I'm curious about, I guess, is like, not to get too far in the weeds and contradict myself here, but I am curious, like, about how long are you spending in the gym, and do you find yourself, like, if you're doing chest as an example, like, is it an hour and you're doing 5 different fucking exercises, or like, what does that break down look like?
I'm usually in there for like 35 to 45 minutes to superset everything, and then I usually do like 5 to 7 exercises, depending on like a little bit more if I'm doing like calves and like hamstrings or something like that. Like I'll do like 10. But yeah, for the most part, I'm usually like 5 to 7 exercises. And
so 5 to 7 exercises of how many? About
4 sets of like, depending on what it is. Like it's usually if like with chest, I'll do like lower reps, higher, or lower reps, higher sets. So I'll do like 5 sets of like 4 to 8.
Yeah.
And then with everything else, I usually do like 12 to 15 reps and 4 sets.
All right. In terms of like comparing traditional weightlifting to say CrossFit or something that would maybe be deemed or coined as a more functional fitness type of thing, do you find yourself doing much of that, any of that, none of that? Like,
I would love to do CrossFit, but like I broke my nose so many times, I can't breathe through my nose. So like my cardiovascular isn't the best. Yeah. I would love to do CrossFit because CrossFit is amazing. I think that CrossFit's one of the best workouts you can do. The only reason it has a negative connotation is because they give you advanced lifting techniques, they time you, and they fucking have soccer moms doing like Olympic lifts.
Yeah, snatches.
So yeah, everybody just gets fucking injured.
Who doesn't love the snatch? Let's be honest.
Yeah. So if you look at the top CrossFit athletes, they're all freaks in nature. Yeah. They're all like unreal athletes.
Jacked,
yeah.
Do you do any type of Olympic lifts, clean and jerks?
No, not so much.
Yeah,
just because. I usually I do like deadlifts and stuff like that. That's what it is.
That's about the extent of it.
Yeah.
In terms of anything else you want to add workout-wise to give the viewer a pearl of wisdom, if you will, or maybe it's an anal bead of wisdom, I don't know.
Just do what you like. It doesn't matter. Like you don't have to work out. Like working out's amazing. Like it's a great outlet for different like depressions and things like that. But like, just be active. Yeah. Do whatever you like. If you like fucking playing badminton, go play badminton. If you want to go...
What do they call it? The shuttlecock? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's shuttlecock. So, do whatever you like. Walk your dog. Walk your dog if it keeps you active.
Yeah, fucking shuttlecock. God bless whoever came up with that name.
Yeah.
All right, so supplements. Obviously, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I have no doubt, like, there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of assholes that probably approach you to slide their shit into your posts.
Oh, yeah.
I have, my thoughts on supplements is fairly skeptical. I've come across a few that I can legitimately, tell a difference on, but I'm curious to get your take on them, both generally speaking, and then specifically, there's just a few that I mentioned, creatine, pre-workout, post-workout, BCAAs, and just recovery in general. Like, give me the Reader's Digest scoop on what your thoughts are on them.
Yeah, so there are like a plethora of shitty bullshit supplements out there. Like, I would say like the ones that people ask me like what supplements do I need to take? Like take a good protein. Like obviously protein will help you and aid with you, but make sure it's a good reputable protein source. Otherwise, it's probably just filled with fillers and horse shit.
What's your take on the source of where that protein's coming from? Do you have a preference?
Not so much. Like I use a whey isolate, like New Zealand whey. I'm not too familiar on it. I know that New Zealand whey is like up there. It's like one of the top like proteins. But I don't know too many companies that use it. I think there's like a few out there. Like I don't know if I can even say them. Anyways, but
we can edit it out.
Yeah, no, but yeah, like the four major ones I always say is that get a good BCAA. Like if you want to use a creatine's obviously your body naturally produces it. Like it's a reputable supplement. Creatine, protein, and just use a fucking good multivitamin. Like you don't need like fat burners and this and that and like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel this, well. I guess two things. One, do you take? Well, I'll just call it for people that don't know what BCAA, branched chain amino acids.
Oh yeah.
Do you take them, and do you notice a difference if you don't take them?
I wouldn't say I notice a difference if I don't take them, but I do take them. I take it intra and post workouts.
Yeah.
It's just been always something I've taken, and or not always taken, but like when I was like 25, I started taking it and like implementing it.
How old are you now?
I just turned 30.
Yeah. So you don't take a pre-workout then?
Oh, I do take pre-workout, but that's like, I know it doesn't do anything for me, but like, it's like I have to take it.
I love the honesty.
Yeah, like if I don't take it, like I don't really notice a difference. But I just like it's just my habit, it's my routine because I've been doing it like since I was like 20.
Yeah.
But I know it doesn't fucking do anything for me. It doesn't aid me in any way.
The niacin makes your skin tingle. And
yeah, and it's like a placebo effect type thing.
Well, I mean, so my last guest that was, or the last episode that just aired, depending on when this airs, I don't know if it'll be in order, but it was Jeff Nichols, and we talked a little bit about, there absolutely is something to that, just routine. And with dog training, like context is fucking everything. Routine is really what gives you the ability to bring a dog to that next level if you're super consistent. So, I mean, irrespective of effect or not, I do understand that there is a mental switch and a contextual benefit to staying in that routine.
Oh, so like if I don't drink my pre-workout, my workout's fucked up.
Yeah. Well,
because like I'm consciously like thinking like, oh shit, I should have drank my pre-workout.
Yep. I
need my pre-workout. I need my headphones. That's all I need.
Yeah. And what type of fucking jams are you listening to in the gym?
I listen to everything. I listen to country, rap, reggae, classical. Like I don't need music to fire me up. Like, so I'll listen to fucking classical, like jazz when I'm working out. Like I'll listen to rap, I'll listen to reggae, I'll listen to country, I'll listen to like
any metal at all?
I just need music. Yeah. Like I listen to a lot of like Disturbed and Five Finger Death Punch and stuff like that.
And Nickelback's got to be huge, right?
No, not on my playlist, but they're big in Canada.
Avril Lavigne, maybe. She's Canadian, right?
Hey, she just put out a good song. She's actually she was born in the same very, very, very small town that I was born in.
No shit.
And she's from Belleville, Ontario.
You guys are about the same age, aren't you?
Yeah, so apparently, like,
turns out
word on the street is we like went to the same schools together because she's the same age as me. She's a year older than me.
No shit.
Yeah.
God, that's a fucking trip.
Yeah, I didn't know that until like a few years ago.
So you didn't even know her then, obviously.
No, I was like, because I left there when I was like 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I gotcha. That's a fucking trip. Anything else supplement wise that's worth mentioning in terms of shit that's worth taking?
Get a good MCT oil. MCT oils. Yeah. I saw that you had some in your cabinet. Yeah. You don't need to like overcomplicate anything.
Yeah. For me, I mean, one of the podcasts I did has been a few months now, but I'm huge on collagen and MCT oil for being 40. And just joints and the abuse that I put through my body and being in SEAL teams and everything. Like I absolutely notice a difference taking that shit. But
especially being like in the SEAL teams, like my buddy that I was telling you about that's on Team 10, like fuck, he's just body's falling apart.
It's brutal.
Yeah, I'm like, man, you need to fucking start taking care of yourself.
Yeah, it's hard to when the job takes precedence over every other element of your life. But
plus, it's your mentality and and you're surrounded by other guys that have that mentality, so it elevates that mentality.
Triple A personality.
Yeah.
I am curious just to get your take on not just steroids, but performance enhancing drugs across the board that are considered illicit or illegal in terms of, what, obviously, like there are a lot of guys, especially that are, higher profile bodybuilder or fitness influencer type guys in your shoes that I have no doubt, I mean, you can tell by looking at them, they're on some shit. What's your take on them? generally speaking.
So I have two takes. Like, you're an adult, do your fucking research. If you're going to take steroids, go ahead. It's no different than smoking or drinking. Like, they're not good for you in any way. Yeah. But you're an adult, do your research. Like, I'll have like people that message me and they're like, hey, I'm thinking about taking steroids. And I don't know these people. They're like, hey, I'm taking about steroids. Like, what do you think? I'm like, what the fuck are you asking me? Would you go up to a stranger and be like, hey, I'm thinking about smoking? Like, you think I should start doing it?
I was thinking about scoring some heroin.
Do your fucking research. You're an adult. Yeah. So if you're going to do steroids, go ahead. Like, just be aware of the dangers and just be aware, do them smartly. Yeah. If you are going to. And then with sports, I think you should be able to do steroids if you want to, as long as you're not in a physical sport. Yeah. Like, if you want to play fucking baseball and you want to jack a ball 700 feet, I don't know, go ahead, all the power to you. Yeah. But if you're going to do them in like MMA and you're going to break someone's face, like, or like football and like potentially injure or like kill somebody, I'm kind of like on the fence. Yeah. But if you want to play basketball, and I don't know about basketball, but like baseball, you want to be able to hit a ball fucking 700 feet, like, all the power to you. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. To me, I would even take it a step further, like, you know, with all the stuff with, say, Lance Armstrong and the Tour de France and shit like that. I mean, to me, I'm curious, you know, my opinion is, and I'm curious to get yours, is that, you know, my take is, where do you draw the line, right? Is that, take the Tour de France as a good example of what we're talking about, is that, how is blood doping an advantage, but not having, say, you know, a financial salary cap that's twice of what every other team has, you know, or you've got better trainers, better coaches, better like, that's an unfair advantage. But, you know, same with football, though. It's like, you know, to me, like, if it's all or nothing, like, either mandate, like, you have to eat this and you can only pay your coaches X. And, you know, I mean, I know there's some salary caps, but there's ways around a lot of that shit. And so, you know, to me, again, it's like, where do you draw that fucking line of saying this is okay, but this isn't? Because to me, it falls into one of those same fucking categories.
Yeah, there's so many different variables, like you're saying, and like, that is obviously an advantage and stuff like that, having more like financial resources and whatnot. Like, look at fucking the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. I'm sure their financial resources is significantly higher than, like, I don't fucking know.
Coincidentally, it doesn't seem to help them all that fucking much.
I was just going to say, I don't think they're doing very well.
I mean, they're all right. They could be doing way fucking better for what they have.
But it's same with like hockey teams and stuff like that. Like Edmonton Oilers, they're the team that it doesn't help them in any way. But anyways, they get dead last every fucking year. So they get the first round draft pick every year. They have a team full of unreal like players. Yeah.
And they still suck.
Yeah, they still suck. But anyways, but they're all like really young and they're kind of trying to mesh and like they'll be good in like a couple of years, I think. Yeah. But like that's an advantage. Yeah. So there's just a ton of different variables and stuff like that. So especially with like blood doping and stuff, like you're not really like, it is kind of cheating, but you're not really like putting anything different into your body. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, my take is it may surprise people. Like I don't give a shit, you know. Like if people want to jack themselves up and that's what they do for a living, I mean, I take the same perspective, even more so in the military. Like I think our special operations, especially, like give those fuckers every advantage.
That is exactly what I tell my buddy, like that's on Team 10, like all the time. Like if anybody should be taking steroids, it should be you guys.
Yeah, I mean, like your life's on the line. Fucking do everything. I mean, smartly. I mean,
it's not even their life. It's the lives of the fucking country that you're defending.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like have smart, educated, sound fucking doctors that are monitoring all of it and use it as a supplemental fucking program. Like to me, it's baffling that they don't.
Because it was baffling because like my buddy was telling me that you guys are tested like all the time, like just your different like testing protocols and stuff like that.
They test the shit out of us.
Yeah, I think it's fucking stupid. If anything, you guys should be on growth hormone, like a TRT, a testosterone replacement therapy. Like that'd probably be good enough. Yeah, but sorry, what were you gonna say?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, like, and it just baffles me too that you guys aren't allowed to take anything. Because if anybody should be taking anything, I think it should be the special forces operators.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. You mentioned TRT. I'm curious, do you separate those two of all of the other performance enhancing pro hormones or things like that and just straight testosterone? Because to me, like,
they're the same thing. It's still synthetic testosterone. It's just the doctor's giving you it. So it's called TRT as opposed to you just taking testosterone.
Yeah. Do you think there's any merit to if you keep it quote unquote within the normal guidelines and not take more than what your body would naturally produce, like as you get older?
Or even like slightly above it. With like I know like bodybuilders that take like, I think like the normal range is like 250 milligrams or something like that, or MCGs or something. Like an average human like produces in a week or something. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but I know guys that take like fucking like 1200 milligrams or MCGs. They're bodybuilders and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you're destroying your body, obviously. But like if you keep it in like relatively like normal ranges, that you're still able to heal faster, like develop more muscle mass and muscle tissue. When you're like relatively above the normal levels, you're not really getting like that much of a benefit. It's more of like a healing properties. So you can train longer, you can recover faster and stuff like that. Yeah, like all the power to you. Just do your research and be like knowledgeable about what you're taking.
Yeah.
It's no different than smoking or doing anything.
Anything else,
Or chewing or whatever.
Yeah. All right, so moving into kind of the e-commerce thing, one of the things I want to offer some of the listeners, and that I very highly respect what you've done in terms of your presence on social media and how you've run your shit, is running an e-commerce based business in the fitness industry, / being an influencer. If you can, kind of synopsize some lessons learned and some advice for people that may want to get into that realm, or things that you've kind of learned the hard way or whatever, to give people some advice. Yeah,
the first thing I always like say, people overcomplicate everything, and it's just like anything in life. Everybody always wants to like overcomplicate things. So the first thing I always say is exhaust your organic reach first. So say you have 1,000 followers in social media. Exhaust all those 1,000 followers before you start looking into lead generation and click funnels and stuff like that, because it's an added expense you don't need. Like, especially if you're just starting. So if you're trying to sell, I don't know, if you start a fitness apparel line or something like that, and you're trying to sell Bob's Fitness Apparel, like exhaust all your organic reach first, and then start looking. That way it minimizes your overhead, and you can grow organically first. Mm-hmm. There's never been a time in human history where it's been easier to make money.
Yeah.
With online and internet and everything.
Especially starting from nothing.
Yeah, like if you give me a business idea, I can tell you how to start that business idea within under $300.
Yeah.
You don't need a website. Well, depending on what it is. Like most people think that you need a website. I don't have websites for any of my companies. You don't need a website. It depending on what you're like selling. If you're selling like a product, you might need one. But you can use Shopify. You can use different things like that, e-commerce. But yeah, so just people overcomplicate things. Obviously, once you grow and your business starts like getting traction and stuff like that, you need to start outsourcing like a back-end guy and drop shipping or whatever it may be, or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I would do, is just don't overcomplicate things.
Yeah. No, that's good advice. I think that's a recurring theme for me in all aspects of life, is trying to keep it fucking simple. But moving into that same realm, navigating social media, generally speaking, I know it's easy to fuck up on that, and same kind of thing, like advice you could give, lessons you've learned the hard way, or any crazy fucking stories about things that you've done that you wish you hadn't, or whatever.
On like social media and stuff like that, like I am who I am, and like I'll always just fucking say what I want to say, and I'll be myself. And if you like me, you like me. If you don't like me, you don't like me. That's cool. Whatever, I'll carry on with my day. And that's how I tell people to portray themselves on social media, because I have people that, like, especially with my Financially Fit Academy, what it is I consult people and I help mentor and guide them and coach them to growing online businesses. So a lot of the times they'll be like, oh, I saw so-and-so do this. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. Like, that's them though. That's not you. They're like, do you think I should do that? No, say what you want to say. Be who you are. That's what's going to make you relatable, and that's what's going to make your following or your fan base or whatever you want to call them, like, appreciate you. They're going to like you for you. Yeah. So, and that's where you get clients and stuff like that, or buyers.
Yeah.
So just always be yourself is essentially like what I say. Like, I've never really done anything on social media that I ever regret or like I fucked up on. And I'm like, obviously like different posting times and stuff like that, like understanding like, but Instagram helps you now. So like, back in the day, they didn't have the insights and stuff like that, like where they tell you your best times, your prime times to post and such. So I kind of had to figure that out on my own. But like just understand who your following is, where they are, what they want, like why they're following you, and have a definitive message as to like what you want to talk about. Like me, I'm always talking about relationships and communication and business, because I think that relationships and communications are the two most important things in life. Everything, your success, your happiness, everything is going to depend on that. Whether you can communicate with people and the relationships that you grow. So that's always been something that's that I've been passionate about, is just understanding how to communicate better with people. And that's what I post about, that and business, because I know how to make money online. So those are the things I talk about.
Yeah. So the two businesses, the Financially Fit Academy, can you tell me a little bit? I mean, is that geared more towards exactly what you're talking about?
Yeah. So that, like, the Financially Fit Academy it's an academy that I started with my business partner, Eric. And he's super sick. Like, he's doing very well. He was very similar to me. He's one of my best friends. He was able to get, like, he wanted to get out of the 9 to 5. He did a little bit more smart than I did. Whereas I just said, fuck it. And I jumped out and I did my thing. And I had to learn kind of the hard way on how to, like, grow my business and stuff. So I worked with him, and, like, he was able to get out of his, he was a welder as well. He was able to get out of welding, and, like, he made $14,000 his first month. So he'll never ever go back. He's doing really well, and he's grown and progressed since then. So we partnered up and we created the Financially Fit Academy, and it's basically to teach people how to grow an online business. We have dermatologists that don't want to have a clinic anymore. They just want to do online consultations, which I didn't know you could do until we had our first one that wanted to do that. Makeup artists, a lot of online trainers, because I know how to make you money online. So that's kind of like what a lot of our, like, clients are and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, that's good shit.
And then the Balanced Bodies was just my personal training company that me and Eric own together now. And we have a few trainers that work for us. And then, that's the training aspect.
Yeah. No, that's good shit. To me, that seems like a both good and smart mix of, offering what you're into anyway. So that makes a lot of fucking sense. In terms of personal life and kind of your philosophy, one of the things I've noticed as being a bit of a recurring theme is I was chasing a girl here. I just broken up with a girl there. Like, is that the Achilles heel? Is that Collin's kryptonite a little bit?
No, not so much. It's just, I'm like, I love. So, if I'm interested in a girl, like, I'll move across the country for her. So it may be my Achilles heel, but no. If I have a strong connection with anybody, like my best friend Tyler, he's in Virginia Beach. I fly down there all the time to hang out with him, party with him. If I have a connection with somebody, like, I'm one of the most loyal people that, like, ever. Like, I appreciate loyalty, and I keep my circle small. So I do anything for my friends and family. So if I have a good connection with somebody, like, I'll go to be with them. Yeah,
no, that's fucking great. Is there a kind of a mantra that you live by in terms of your personal philosophy in life?
Not so much. Just don't be a shitty person.
Fucking don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Let's get some t-shirts made up.
Yeah.
I did notice, and one of the things I love seeing the different videos you post of the Dutch Shepherd that you have. Can you tell me a little bit about her? Yeah.
So Vega, she's awesome. So I used to own two other Dutch Shepherds with the girl that I was with in Ontario, but then we split up and we owned a property together. Like, it's one of my investment properties that I have. So it was better. Like, it was just better for the dogs. We had a massive backyard and stuff like that. And I was coming back to basically nothing in Edmonton. So it was just better for the dogs for her to keep them. Like, one of the dogs was hers. The big male was mine. But she loved them both. She was a good dog owner and stuff like that. So, she kept both the dogs. So when I came back, I was like, well, I love the breed. Like, I like hiking and camping and being outdoors and stuff like that. And so I just went and picked up another Dutch Shepherd, and she'll be 3 in April.
Oh, nice.
So
did you get her in the States, or?
Where'd she come from? I bought her. They flew her in from San Diego. I think she came from San Diego. Or no, I can't remember where they flew her in from. But she's an amazing dog. And, like, there's been, like, and I love dogs because there's been so many days that I don't want to get up. I don't want to fucking, like, do anything. Like, I'm tired. I'm run down. But I got to get up and I got to work her because she's out of fucking control. Yeah. So she needs to be exercised. So then once I get up and I'm moving and I'm outdoors and stuff like that, like, I'm in the mindset of growing and progressing, then I can do my tasks and get shit done.
No, they do have an amazing way of keeping you or holding you accountable.
And I love it. And I always say that, like, if I don't say get a dog for that reason, obviously, but it's something that a dog will help you with.
Yeah. It's your life fucked up, go get a dog.
Yeah.
Make sure you fuck the dog's life up too.
Yeah, no. Make sure, and like, especially with these fucking breeds, people are like, I get messages all the time. I'm sure you probably get them all the time. Yeah. People are like, oh, I want to get a dog. Like, your dog's so cool. I'm like, well, do you know anything about the breed?
Yeah.
And they're like, no. I was like, don't get the dog.
Yeah.
Do a bunch of research, figure out what this dog is like.
Yeah. Everything that makes a good, especially with Malinois Shepherds, that make them a good standard of their breed makes them horrible fucking house pets.
Like, if I didn't know my own companies and like got to make my own schedule and stuff, I could never have this dog. Like, I'm outside like 4 hours a day with her, like running her and working her.
Yeah, no, they keep you honest, no doubt about it. Have you done any training with her above and beyond?
Yeah, I did search and rescue with her for a little while, but then my second business took off and I just kind of like fell off it.
Yeah.
So I was doing bite work, I was doing shunts and training with her and stuff like that for the first year I had her, or no, she was a year old. I did it for like 4 months with her.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, like I would rather potentially like volunteer and do something like we were discussing, like have like this, you have this tool that like you're not using. So if I could volunteer and do search and rescue and help somebody, that would be great for me. She doesn't care what she's doing. She just wants to work.
Yeah.
So, and then I switched her into search and rescue, but then kind of just fell off, like, because like I didn't have the time. Like, I had to drive like an hour and a half out into like the country to be able to train with her and stuff like that. That's where like the Canadian Search and Relief Disaster Dog Association was. So I had to, I didn't have the time like with my business and stuff. So now I just run her, work her. She does her thing.
Did you find that she took to both Schutzen and the rescue work fairly easily? Oh
yeah, like she'll pick up like anything I want to teach her, like or like work with her. She picks it up right away.
Super cognitive and operant.
Oh yeah, she's a sweetheart, but she'll go 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, that's fucking
especially when there's coyotes around.
Yeah. Before we get into politics, one thing that I failed to ask, and I'll go ahead and choke myself for the listeners. CBD oil, is that something that you take? Like, one, is it legal in Canada?
Yeah. So it just became legal. Like, marijuana became legalized like in October, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And like I was never big into like weed. Like I never like I smoked like a couple times in my life, like up until
allegedly.
Yeah. No. I didn't really smoke it until I went and volunteered in Central America for like a month, and it just grew wild there. So like. We were up in the middle of the mountains. I was working at a wildlife rehabilitation center.
Oh shit!
And which was an amazing experience. But there's like no Wi-Fi, no TV or anything like that. So like a lot of the times we just kind of smoke weed and like chat. It was awesome because you had people from Israel and Amsterdam and the States and Canada, and like you just had all these different cultural.
At what point in your life was this?
This is like 2 years ago.
No shit.
Yeah.
Just took a year or a couple months and fucking went down there and.
Yeah. No. So I had a friend that went and volunteered at this certain wildlife rehabilitation center. She talked about it, said it was an amazing experience. And then she was going back.
Another Czech was involved.
Yeah. No, she's one of my best friends. She's married and she has a kid and everything like that. So, but so I went with her and yeah, it was great. So it was probably one of the most amazing experiences of my life.
What was the nature of the rehab work animal wise? Like, what were you working on?
So they there's white-faced capuchins. They're like the monkey off of Friends. That's a white-faced capuchin.
Yeah.
There's spider monkeys. There's jaguars, margays, kinkajous, anteaters, sloths. There's all sorts of animals, and essentially what they were some of them were injured, like they got hit by cars and stuff like that. I was up in Costa Rica, like right on the Costa Rican Panamanian border. But a lot of them were rescued from the exotic pet trade. So people would buy a jaguar as a pet, they'd yank out its fucking claws and like cap its teeth.
Yeah. And
then obviously you can't put it back in the wild because you just took its fucking predatory weapons away.
Yeah.
So they would work with them and stuff like that. So a lot of them were just like injured, and then we would rehabilitate them and put them back into the wild. But some of them won't ever go back into the wild.
So like it sounds like it's half rehab, half sanctuary.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
No,
cool.
It was really cool. It was a good experience.
Is that something that you took an interest in prior to that, or was it just kind of?
I've always loved animals and stuff like that. Like at the same time, I'm kind of like a paradox. Like my brother always like I like hunting and stuff like that, but I also love I love animals.
Yeah.
I like hunting if you're gonna eat and you're gonna eat your own meat and stuff like that. Like I'm 100% for it. It's better than fucking getting your food from like slaughterhouse or something like that. I've always loved animals. Like So I'm planning on doing a trip up in Johannesburg, South Africa, and working with a big cat sanctuary.
Oh, no shit.
There'll be like cheetahs, leopards, lions, tigers, and stuff.
How did you fucking line that up?
So after I did that trip, I didn't really talk about it because I don't really like to post shit that I like do that's like good stuff because I do it for myself. I don't fucking do it for social media.
Fucking horn.
Yeah, like, oh, look at me, I'm up in Central America volunteering. No, I don't fucking care. I just want to go do it and have the experience and learn and grow from it.
The Sean Penn bringing the fucking
old
lady
then
up.
You got the Sarah McLachlan in the eyes of an angel, me petting like a sloth or something.
Yeah.
But no, so after I did that, I made like 1 or 2 posts, but I have a smaller account on my personal account.
Yeah.
So like I posted on that, and then this company reached out to me, and I was supposed to go there in August actually, but then my third company took off and it got busy and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to go. So I'm planning on going in in August of this year.
Oh, that's good shit.
Yeah, it'll be really cool.
That sounds neat as fuck. That's awesome. All right, so one of the last things I wanted to talk about is politics, just with the kind of the difference. I'm always curious to get somebody from another country, even though Canada is so fucking close to the U.S., figuratively and literally, that there's not a huge difference. But guns, foreign policy, progressiveness, to me, like as an outsider looking in and having been there a number of times, there does seem to be a bit of a disparity as it relates to the progressive, bordering on socialist nature with which Canada tends to operate in their government capacity. I'm curious to get your perspective, having grown up there, but also spent a lot of time here. What is your thoughts on how Canada is as a country politically and where they're at and what you think of it?
I'm probably not the best person because I literally don't pay much attention to politics.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't really pay much attention to it just because obviously it affects me and stuff like that, but it's never ever really like, there's always 2 sides to every coin.
Sure.
So one person's always happy about something, one person's always fucking bitching about something. So I just like step away from it. I really don't care. Yeah. Whatever happens type thing. I think that American politics and like Trump and stuff like that has done like a lot of good things. Canada's done a lot of good things and stuff like that, but Canada's just like, they just kind of shit they just shit on their own country a lot. Like our prime minister like gives away a bunch of money to other countries and stuff like that could be used for other things like pipeline. Like our country's ran by oil basically. Yeah. So and then like our prime minister kind of shits on our oil industry.
So is that kind of a general theme of what your take on Trudeau is that he's kind of a bastard? He seems like a fucking dipshit to me. But.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, I don't know much about it enough to like give you like an educated opinion or anything like that because I try not to like pay attention to it. But like from what I'm hearing, he's just giving away a bunch for taxpayers' money and stuff like that, like and not keeping in the country to grow and progress our country. Yeah. But which I do respect about Trump because Trump's doing a lot of good things. I don't follow your guys' politics, but my buddy Tyler's the team guy. He's a huge Trump supporter and stuff like that. Yeah. So he's always telling me like all this different stuff. Yeah. So
force feeding you a bunch of shit.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, I don't care, Tyler. Like it doesn't pertain to me in any way.
Yeah, yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, I would say the collective. I don't really consider myself necessarily right wing. I mean, I find myself aligning with probably more policies on the right side than the left.
And what exactly is right wing? Because we don't like have that in Canada.
Republican, conservative. Trump he ran on the Republican or conservative platform.
Okay, and that's more like pro guns and stuff like that.
Sort of. I mean, it's
because the liberals are more of like I don't know, like the pussies of like the country.
In my opinion, I mean, like I'll put it this way: is that if I just oversimplify it and say, that the type, especially with men, the type of, and I'll even break down the women for you women listening, the type of men that you typically see who are avid left wing, whether they're bordering on socialism or just staunch, democratic supporters, they generally, and not all of them, but generally speaking, they don't usually come across as fucking men.
Okay.
They just don't. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't. I've met some, but not very fucking many. Like most of the guys I meet, I look at them and they're spineless fucking beta males that have their balls in their wife's purse.
Oh, okay.
That, they're yes men. They don't want to offend anybody. They want to talk, they'll wrap a chain around their neck and talk about, fucking reparations for slavery. I mean, like they're just people that are so emasculated that to me it's almost biologically fucking inappropriate or borders on it. And with the women, typically, again, not always, but they're usually the more staunch, in your face, like screaming for women's rights and equality, when from my perspective it tends to lean more towards preferential treatment versus equality. And I'll give you an example just with the NFL, because it's something that I noticed here recently, was that there was a Kansas City Chiefs player that got shit canned from the team immediately when a video surfaced just a couple weeks ago of an altercation with him and a woman in a hotel hallway. And watching the video, like, she's in his face, and I don't know if she's spitting on him or yelling at him or whatever. I mean, she's fucking going berserk. And he kind of half pushes her and she falls on the ground, and they say that he kicks her, like he goes over and kind of shoves her with his foot. Now, I have my own opinions on how women should be treated. However, is that number one is that, to me, like it's wildly hypocritical to say, we're the same and we want equal treatment.
Yeah.
If that had been a guy, it wouldn't have even made the news. Well, it wouldn't have made the news, and he wouldn't have gotten fired for it.
Yeah.
So why is it because it's a woman? Now there needs to be this fucking feigned outrage about it. It's like, if you want to be equal, then it's all the time. It's not when it's convenient.
Yeah.
It's not just when this quota needs to be filled at this job, but when it comes to getting your ass handed to you, like, well, you can't because you're a woman. Like the whole domestic violence thing. It's like, if it's a guy, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point is that it's those progressive social issue is everything. Like, those are the types of people that are typically fall into the liberal camp, if you will. Now, my perception of what it's like in Canada is that as a collective, aggregate, mean average that exists in your country, is that it seems like it's more on that progressive side than it is in the States.
I feel like it would be like it's just a big melting pot. It's just a big mixture of that. Like, you'll have more, what did you call them?
Liberals?
Yeah, you'll have more liberals and then the Republican. But we don't have those terms for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just all kind of mixed, I suppose. We just definitely have a lot of the people that you're describing as liberals. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Especially in they're more populated in different cities and stuff like that. I'm sure in different regions.
Yeah, it's the same thing here. I mean, to me, it's ironic and almost laughable, I think, and that generally, in these big metropolitan areas where you see larger concentrations of liberals, is that they're generally people who depend on a lot of other fucking people to survive.
Yeah.
Trash collectors, fucking police officer, whereas the people who generally take it upon themselves, who live in more rural areas, who can hunt for themselves, who protect themselves, who fix all their own shit, are generally super staunch fucking Republicans. Yeah. And to me, that should tell you a lot, when it comes to voting time, and generally liberals are far quicker to snatch fucking money and pay for all of these subsidized government programs because it benefits them, and a lot of them fucking need it to survive. Whereas if there was a catastrophe on an apocalyptical level, they would be the first to be fucking exterminated. They would die within a matter of days. So, but whatever, we can talk about that forever. But obviously, if you're not that into politics, it's
and that sounds like, because I was saying that Alberta, the province that I live in, is very similar to Texas. I would say that we're more so you're Republican people.
Yeah,
everybody depends on oil's big, so everybody. I would say that. I guess the province I live in is more Republican.
Yeah,
but if you go to a different province like British Columbia, they're more liberal minded, I suppose.
Yeah,
because they're all more organic, vegan type people and stuff
hugging,
like that.
Hugging trees and down
Yeah.
No, yeah. It's very similar here. Just like I said, my perception of Canada as a whole is it seems to tend to lean a little more on the liberal or progressive side.
Yeah, I guess so. As a whole, I would say more so probably that sense.
Yeah.
But a lot of it just could be the people that I hang out with. A lot of people aren't happy with that whole liberal mindset type thing because.
Well, that's refreshing.
Yeah, they don't want that.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is, I suppose.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't really pay too much attention to politics. I do my own thing and carry on my own way.
Having some friends that are team guys and spending a fair bit of time here, what is your take quickly on guns as it relates to Canada? Do you think that it's too strict? Do you wish that it was easier to...
In Canada? I think Canada's gun control is good.
All right, we're going to end this interview right now. No.
Yeah, it's where it needs to be. It's different though. It's different cultures. So in the States, like we don't have shootings. Like there's like one shooting a year in like Canada, if evening, and it's like a guy with like a fucking hunting rifle and he hammered off like 3 rounds or something. It's not like an AR-15 or something like that. But like it's two different beasts, I suppose, because in the States, like if I lived in the States, I would be probably more pro guns because everybody's got a fucking gun. I'd want a gun.
Yeah.
But I'm in Canada. Nobody has a gun. I don't need a fucking gun.
Yeah.
So like I would say I'm more pro gun, but I just in my mindset, like from being from Canada, like we don't need guns.
Yeah.
Like I grew up hunting and stuff like that. My dad's got a plethora of weapons and stuff like that. Yeah. We can have guns. It's just you can't carry them on you.
Yeah.
Is all it is. Like you have to have it like locked up in like your vehicle and whatnot.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like to bust balls and joke, but I do agree. Like one of the things that drives me nuts is the comparison of, America to Canada or New Zealand or Australia or
they're two different beasts.
England or what. Yeah. I mean, it's like
two different cultures.
Yeah. I mean, this country was built on guns being taken away or not, that's what kicked it all off, so it's just, it's a totally different.
No. And I always like, even when I see those comparisons, I'm like, well, it's like fucking apples to oranges.
Yeah.
They're two different things.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree. I always like to get that perspective though. As we wrap up here, one of the things, with you, with your online presence, whatever, I want to relay to the listeners is where can people find you, and what's the best way to contract your services or find out more about what you offer?
Yeah. Just go to like Collin Joseph _fit. That's my Instagram handle. And then if you're wanting to grow an online business and then get enrolled in the Financially Fit Academy, you just click the link in my Instagram bio and set up you fill out an application. It takes like 2 minutes. Set up a consultation call, and then myself and my business partner, Eric, we usually have a consultation call to see if we can like better serve the people that are talking to us. Or if you want to do like if you want personal training, they just same thing. You click the link in my Instagram bio, and then you just click personal training, and that'll bring you to Balanced Bodies. They would fill out an application, then I would have a consultation call. Same way that way I can figure out who they are. I can chat with them a bit, figure out their routine, their lifestyle, what training and nutritional approach would work best for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how they find me.
Well, good shit. Anything else that you want to add to this episode?
I want to know why Texas. Why'd you come from Coronado to Texas?
Well, that's a good question.
Are you from here originally?
I'm not. I'm actually from northern Iowa, which is not too dissimilar from most of Canada.
Okay.
Rural, cold as fuck in the winter. For me, it was a couple of things. Is that I wanted to have property that was conducive to having dogs in a few different ways. Number one was it's centrally located. If I'm working with departments on California or Upper East Coast or whatever, is that
it's easy to send off a dog.
Yeah, or it's at least as centrally located to where I'm not on one coast having to go cross country. Weather-wise, especially at the time of when I set the business up, the heat in the summer here, as extreme as it is a good preparation for dogs that have to go to the Middle East to acclimate them.
I never thought of that.
It doesn't get miserably cold here. I mean, it gets colder than I think people realize, especially where I'm at in North Texas, but certainly not like, the Midwest or up north where you're at. And so it's a little more conducive to having a kennel facility with dogs where, it's a little easier to keep weight on them, or if you're whelping puppies, the weather's a little more conducive. From a culture standpoint, there's no state tax here, which is a really nice business benefit. Texas offers a shitload of really, really good, high-quality veterans benefits, whether it's real estate taxes or education for children, different VA benefits, things of that nature. And then the culture and the people here I really like. I mean, Texas is one of, if not probably the most fucking proud state of the union, and that I really appreciate how into state pride people are, almost to a fault. I mean, like me, even though I've been here 10 fucking years, like I'm still not a Texan, from people that grew up here. They're like, we'll let you stay, but I'm not like one of them. But I appreciate how prideful people are and how well they take care of their shit here. And especially out in rural East Texas, Northeast Texas, where I'm at, it's just really good salt of the earth, down to earth people that give you the shirt off their back, and they're just good fucking people, So all of those things combined, the real estate's cheap on top of it. So all those things combined was just kind of made sense for me to start this business here and be able to do what I wanted to do. But
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering why Texas. I thought maybe you were from here or something like that.
No. I kind of, there's times where I wish I was, but just, again, because it's such a cool state. But no, I mean, I'll always be an Iowa boy from the start, so I'll stick to that. But all right, so a couple things before we wrap up here. I just want to talk about, just because I don't like to flutter you guys with ads all over other shit, I am going to tell you about the Tricos online training. If you have a dog and you need it fucking trained, do it yourself. And one of the things, because Collin is on here, we're going to offer the code Collin10 to get 10% off the Tricos online dog training program, which is getting ready to be a certification program. By the time this airs, it will be, where you can actually get a Tricos Team Dog online training certificate for completing it. There's quizzes and a test at the end. You have to go through it in order, but it's a good feather in the cap for those out there who are dog trainers or dog walkers or industry professionals in any regard. We also carry the and that's at teamdog.pet. So check that shit out. And again, if you're listening to this episode, enter that code in and you get 10% off the online yearly subscription. CBD oil, the Tricos CBD oil, Tricos supplements have had a shit ton of good feedback in terms of the different benefits that it's given dogs. And one of the neat things about dogs, unlike people, just like with the pre-workout, there is no fucking placebo effect in dogs. They do not give a shit that you're giving them CBD oil. So face value, it's a damn good litmus test to see if the shit works or not. And you can go on tricosupplements.com and look at all of the feedback that we've gotten. Also, just go on tricos.com for the merchandise. You can also get the Mic Drop merchandise, which has the "We Don't Give a Shit About Your Feelings" shirts and the "Go Choke Yourself" one with the microphone noose that have been real popular. Just to let everybody know, we've also got some good shit coming down the pipe here in the next couple of months. There will be a Tricos dog food and treat available here shortly, as well as a dog crate that I've been working with with a company for the last better part of 2 fucking years, developing the last crate that you will ever need to buy that is almost ready. We're making the last couple of tweaks to it. The Tricos collar and leash will be available very, very soon through a major canine manufacturing company that pretty much everybody's heard of, that is in the dog world at all, that we'll launch here shortly, that we switched manufacturers, and those will be available again here soon. And we've got some other products that I can't talk about yet, but that are coming down later in 2019. Check all that shit out. Anything else you want to add before we close shop?
No, man, it was an absolute pleasure being on your podcast. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
I can't thank you enough. Like I said, I know it's a fucking jaunt out here, and it's a kind of a rainy, shitty day, so I appreciate you coming.
Nah, it's better than the snow.
Yeah, amen. For all you listeners, all you assholes that continue to support me, even though I don't deserve it, I truly and humbly appreciate all of it. We would not be able to do what we do without it. And so for those of you that are listening, feel free to choke yourself. If you're not, do it twice. And until next time, this is Mic Drop.